everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I use my Xtool P2 CO2 laser to turn my stained glass mandala pattern into a budget-friendly Suncatcher made out of wood and acrylic. Now the first thing I did before anything else was I ran 2 tests through my laser onto the acrylic. I wanted to do an engrave test and a cut test. I wanted to figure out the best engraving settings for my purposes. Since this is going to be in a window backlit, I'm not too concerned about getting my engraving very deep or very bright. I just want a nice smooth engraving. So this one right here looked perfect to me. It's 20% power at 400 speed and 200 lines. And then I also did the cut test. I'm going to do one of these, 40% power and 10% or 10 speed, or 50% power and 15 speed. So now before we can cut any acrylic or wood, we need to prepare our files in the Xtool Creative Space app. And I will show you how to do that now. It's a great app. It's very intuitive. I found it very easy to figure out. Now, you can do some of the designing in the app itself. It's very basic though, so my pattern was originally designed in Photoshop, so I did most of the tweaking in Photoshop, but then I have to put it into the Creative Space app to get it set up for cutting and engraving. Okay, so we have our Xtool Creative Space app open. We're going to start a new project. And then we're going to go up here and add the image that we want. Now, these images I'm adding are PNG files because I created them in Photoshop. When you import a PNG file, you only have the option to engrave it. So you have to first trace the image and create a vector outline. So now I have my outline that I can either score, engrave, or cut. Now I need 2 of these because these are going to be cut out of 3mm birch plywood. The acrylic is going to be sandwiched in between these 2 pieces. So I'm going to copy and paste. I need to set the parameters. I'm just going to go by the recommended Xtool parameters. So you have to click up here to the materials library. Now they don't have 3mm birch plywood in this quick list, but you can click more Xtool materials, filter by wood, and then they should have 3mm birch plywood right here. They recommend 100 power at 30 speed. I don't like using 100 power, so I'm going to do 80 power at 30 speed, open in XCS. Okay, and then it was imported, and there we have it. Okay, and then we have to open another project. This time we are importing a middle layer. So again, we need to trace the image. We're going to cut. I should have saved that birch setting, so I'm going to, okay, the setting is there, but I'm going to save it. And when you save settings, they just go right up here. Okay, so this file is also good to go. We're going to save that. Okay, then the last file we have to create is for the acrylic pieces. And this one I drew some designs in Photoshop because I want to etch those onto the acrylic to kind of give it a little more pizzazz. So again, we're going to trace the image. Now, get rid of this layer. Okay, so what we have to do now, and I want to release compound vector. So what that does is it releases all of these elements so I can select them individually. I do not need this frame, I only need the inner pieces now. And what I have to do now is I have to group all these by how I'm going to color them. Okay, so all of these, I'm just going to group them because those are going to be on the purple. These background pieces, these are going to be frosty clear. Okay, again, I'm going to group these. Right now, all of my etching elements and this cutout piece are all individual elements, so I need to group them. Okay, so those are going to be light purple, and these are also going to be light purple, and these are going to be light purple. So and then these remaining pieces are going to be a holographic blue. Now what we need to do is we need to set the parameters for everything. Based on my test grid, I found that I want to cut acrylic at 40% power and 10 speed. I'm going to save that setting. So I'm going to set all those parameters for everything else. This I need to do cutting and engraving. So I'm going to select everything except I'm going to hold shift and unselect. Oh, so I need to ungroup it. And unselect the part I'm cutting. I need to turn this into a group and engrave it. And this I will be engraving at 20% power, 400 speed, 200 lines per centimeter. We're going to save that setting. And now that circle I need to cut. And then we just go one by one. We're going to ungroup this, deselect the shape outline so we can engrave the center. Cut. I need to subtract at overlap so I can preserve those details. So now what I need to do is I need to go prepare the wood and the acrylic. Alright, so I'm going to need 3 sheets of the 3mm plywood. This sheet will be for the center layer, which I don't need to do anything to, don't need any masking, don't need any glue tape or anything. Now the front and the back pieces, I need to put transfer adhesive on the back side. The transfer adhesive, I'm going to use 3M's 467. It's less messy than glue. The only issue is it's not really adjustable. Once you get it stuck, it's stuck. So you have to make sure that you got it exactly where you want it. Just want to make sure it's really on there. Okay, time to start cutting. So I'm going to start with the front and back wood panels, the ones that I put the transfer adhesive on. Okay, let's get our wood set in the machine. I'm just going to do one piece at a time. Okay, so we're going to go back to the creative space. We're going to get rid of this one because we're only processing one mandala at a time. We're going to show the background. Now, this looks like it's very close, so we need to do a close shot. And we're going to look at the top here. That shows we are on the wood. We're going to do another close shot down here. We are on the wood again. And just to be safe, we're going to do the other two sides also. We're good there. This is the best feature on this app. You can make sure your designs are lined up precisely. Okay, it looks like we are ready to print. So we are going to click Go to Process, and it's telling me that it's going to take 7 minutes and 22 seconds to cut this out. There are a lot of cuts in here, so let's go. So now for the acrylic, I have some Xtool selected acrylic here. This one is, really won't be able to see yet. It's a dark purple. It already has the paper masking on it, so I'm just going to leave this one on. Then this is the frosted clear. So I want the matte side up, so I'm going to put it this way in the laser. I used this iridescent blue on a different project, but you can see how it left hazing. So that's why I already masked this one front and back. The last one, I wanted a light purple to go with that dark purple. I just found this light purple on Amazon. This one has the plastic masking, so I want to take this off. You don't want any air bubbles in there, so you really want to burnish it down. Okay, so everything is cut out, the wood, the acrylic. Now I'm just making sure that all of the acrylic pieces fit in the template. So now is the fun part of putting it all together. I set up just this little jigs to help me line it up. All right, that feels pretty good. All right, everything fit in perfectly. Now I just have the last layer to put on top. All right, I think it lines up perfectly. All right, let's check it out in the light.